Chapter 2. Mow Money, Mow Problems. I had just finished mowing my front lawn for the third time. By early June, I was already far behind schedule on my mowing duties. As if on cue, my riding mower coughed its last bit from the exhaust, backfired, and the engine cut off completely. I pushed the mower up my driveway, along the side of my house, and into the pole barn out back. Sweat dripped from my body, and I was breathing heavily. I stepped out to the pavement as the overhead door closed behind me. The front yard was in order, but the grass in my backyard was a jungle. It came up well above my waist in most places. I shook my head and smiled as I stood there in front of my barn and surveyed the wilderness in my backyard. During the spring of 2018, I had only mowed the front yard 3 times, deliberately avoiding the backyard because of the added difficulty. I also knew the riding mower was on its last year in operating condition. My backyard was enclosed by a 7-foot wooden privacy fence, stretching from the sides of my house to the far back. In the far back, a line of trees, bushes, and plants completely shielded my yard from the neighbors on the next block over. As I was looking through my mail one afternoon, I came across a letter from the city. The letter immediately delayed all of my upcoming travel plans. The letter caused me a massive stress headache the rest of the week, and it sparked the first battle in a war which wouldn't end until a full half year later, both sides taking heavy losses. A medical emergency in fall, resulting from the mower conflict, would be like no injury I had ever experienced, but that was still months away. No longer working since May 18th of 2018, I was finalizing ideas to begin a summer of extensive travel. I had people to meet, places to see, drugs to consume, and a mind I was looking to escape. It was a Tuesday when the letter came. Until I read it, I had planned to leave to begin the summer of travel with a trip to see a trans lady down in Kentucky. For the second time within a couple of weeks, I had to let the lady know that the visit needed to be pushed back. The letter from the city was blunt and to the point. If I didn't mow my backyard by that upcoming Friday, I was going to be fined $600 and charged a rate of $75 an hour for city workers to complete the job themselves. Did the one neighbor with the view of my yard complain to the city? Had the new city property auditor overstepped his boundaries by peeking over my fence into my backyard? It didn't matter at that point. What mattered then was putting in the work before the deadline. I called all kinds of mowing and landscaping services. Some companies explained that I was out of their range of coverage. Others were at full client capacity for the year. Still others were not taking on new clients in the immediate future, with 2 weeks being the soonest anyone could make it to the house. Late that night, my tweaked and stressed brain formulated an idea. I spent 4 hours outside with a machete and a flashlight. The next morning, I knew that it had been wasted time. I had an acre of lawn, 3/4 of it was the backyard. The grass was thick and tall. The amount I had handled with a machete emphasized how I needed an actual mower. With a tweaked and stressed brain, I set my sights on fixing the dead riding mower that Wednesday. I had 2 more days, and I had confidence in my abilities. Whether it was false confidence or not was yet to be seen. In the time since I had left the corporate world just a few weeks prior, I had bought new tools from a hardware store. I had previously changed a starter in one of my cars as well, and I've changed 2 alternators. I had installed an intricately self-built and complicated car audio system. I had changed car batteries. In one of my cars, I rewired the electrical system under the hood. Though learning by myself as I made those changes and upgrades had been challenging, all was eventually completed successfully. As the sun went down that Friday evening, I was happy I'd finished the repairs to the mower 6 hours before it grew dark that night. I hadn't anticipated the 2 extra hours of hardship once the mowing began. The grass was beyond thick and tall. It towered above the tractor as I rode on it and mowed, especially out in the back third. The lawn almost swallowed the mower, and me right along with it. The deck of the tractor, which held the blades, was raised as high as it could go. The motor labored to keep the blades spinning, often stalling out completely. It was slow going. Deep gashes on my fingers from the repair job began to bleed anytime the mower jerked as I tried to keep the steering wheel steady. One of the rear tires had completely blown and slid down off the wheel hub an hour into the mowing, leaving it completely flat and useless. The next 5 hours of bouncing made me wish for relief from my tailbone. My arm and shoulder muscles fatigued worse from mowing than from any workouts as I struggled to keep course during the whole slow ride. My back ached. Sweat burned in my eyes. Grass clippings stuck all over my sweaty body. Some clippings hit me directly in my eyes. So did bugs. That evening brought about relentless mosquitoes, exacerbated by the stirring up and mowing of the lawn. They were the mosquito bites that hurt first before they itched uncontrollably. I pushed through. At the last moment before darkness, when my timeline and the gas in the lawnmower's tank had almost run out, I finished 6 hours of agonizing but necessary mowing in my backyard. I smiled as I drove the mower into the overhead door on the side of my barn and through to the third room to park it. I stepped off the gas pedal and turned the key. The engine continued running for some reason, but I didn't care. I was going to let the gas run out on its own. As I walked from that room in my barn where I had parked the still running mower, the engine exploded. I slept well that Friday night despite the crystal. I had hardly slept that week. I had been stressed since reading the letter from the city. I put in arduous work fixing the mower, and I exhausted myself that Friday evening to complete my goal. I woke up refreshed. The line of crystal I sniffed from a glass chessboard added to my overall good mood. I could relax, and I could pick up where I left off. I sent Kelly a text. Third time's the charm. Life interfered twice, but I'm finally able to come see you. My next text will be when I'm pulling out of my driveway. 2 hours south of Perrysburg lies Wapakoneta, Ohio, the birthplace of Neil Armstrong. Wapakoneta is 13 miles south of Lima and 74 miles north of Dayton, in the middle of nowhere. At 5 o'clock that Saturday evening, I took the single Wapakoneta exit to buy some food and stretch my legs. The previous hour hadn't offered any fast food options besides Lima, a city I always tried to avoid. As I exited past the sign for the local space museum, I saw the golden arches to my right. I parked my car, entered the restaurant, ordered, and sat down to eat. As I got up to leave, I texted Kelly. "I'll see you in about 5 hours." I walked back outside and into the 95-degree late afternoon heat. The sun was bright. There were no clouds in the sky. I sat down in my then extremely warm car and turned the key. Nothing happened. I tried again. Still nothing. The starter was good. The battery was charged. The car was frozen. I pulled out my phone and I video called Kelly. I watched as Kelly's eyes went from soft to angry. It was as if flames surrounded her face as we video talked. Kelly could not accept that it was the third time that I wouldn't be able to keep plans to see her. The crystal had a hold of her independently from me. "You planned this. You're a demon. You're a demon sent to get my hopes up and crush them. You planned this from the beginning. You were never going to come see me." Wapakoneta was only one exit off the highway in the middle of farmland. I was in a fast food parking lot in a sea of corn and soybean fields. There was one gas station within walking distance. There was a home improvement store within eyesight. I could see the last cars pulling from the parking lot. It was Saturday evening in the country. The store was closing for the night. Observing that scene brought a series of bad thoughts into my head. Everywhere is closing for the evening. It's the weekend. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I sure don't see any auto repair places around. If there are any, they'd be closed, not only in the evening but for the weekend. It's only Saturday. It's 95 degrees out. I don't have AAA. My car issue's beyond my skill set. It isn't even 6 o'clock. The sun is still going to be cooking for a few more hours. There's no breeze in this humid air. When the sun gets lower, the mosquitoes will be out. It's about to be a rough night. I couldn't do much under the hood due to the heat of the recently running engine and the brightness of the sun. I surmised, though, that the issue was my ignition. Later on, 2 guys in their early 20s pulled up in a pickup truck and stopped to talk to me. One of the guys told me that he used to work for an auto shop. He did his thing and came to the same conclusion. It was the ignition. The young men in the truck stopped by again later on in the night as I was doing my best to shoo away a strung-out vagrant before the vagrant figured out that I had something with me which he may have wanted. I explained to the transient there was no way my car was going to move that night, so I wouldn't be able to give him a ride anywhere. The vagrant walked on. One of the guys in the pickup truck gave me the phone number of a mechanic he knew. He told me to call at 8 o'clock the next morning. I thanked him. From there, I was physically alone for the rest of the night. I made it through that miserable night in my broken car with company on my phone from 2 ladies from the website. One was in Pennsylvania and the other was in New York. I got to know each of them. I was happy for the distraction from the bugs, the heat, and the boredom. At one point, I walked to the close-by gas station. I bought drinks and snacks and bug spray. I took as close to a bath as I could take in the bathroom sink. The second I walked back outside to my car, I was instantly again pouring sweat. I stripped to my boxers. It didn't help. I called the phone number I had been given at 8 the next morning. A man answered. His shop was on the other side of the small city, and his tow truck was on assignment out of town. I explained my situation and how I got the mechanic's number. The mechanic told me to sit tight for another half hour. The mechanic pulled up in a short flatbed truck. It wasn't a tow truck though, it was just a flatbed truck. I texted both of my new lady friends goodbye, and I thanked them for staying awake with me. I then stepped from my front seat and met with the mechanic. The mechanic had a flatbed truck with a tow hitch. He had cargo ratchet straps. He had an idea, the same idea which I had when I first saw the truck pull up. 20 minutes later, I was skiing in my car behind the flatbed truck on the surface streets of Wapakoneta. There was a good 20 feet of slack on the straps which tethered the front frame of my car to the trailer hitch on the back of the truck. The lack of power steering made for a challenging time at the wheel. The braking was a challenge as well. After 15 minutes of car skiing and concerned looks from other motorists on the road, I was pulled safely to the auto shop. Another 10 minutes and $50 later, and I was back in a fully operational vehicle. As suspected, it was an ignition issue. The security chip, out of nowhere, had stopped being recognized by the system. I was no longer headed to Kentucky. I drove to the expressway and headed back home.